Are you in a relationship with a covert narcissist? The confusion no one warned you about. At first, it didn't look like abuse. There were no raised voices, no obvious cruelty. In fact, they seemed sensitive, misunderstood, even deeply wounded. They told you they had been hurt before. They said no one really got them, and somehow over time, you became the one carrying their pain while quietly losing access to your own. If you ever thought they are not abusive, but I feel smaller, emptier, and constantly at fault, diminished, dismissed, this conversation is for you. My name is 𝗖cie heç𝗃𝗶𝘂𝘀𝗀, licensed clinical social worker. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's get started. Why covert narcissism is so hard to recognize. Why people hear the word narcissist, they imagine arrogance, dominance, grandiosity. But covert narcissism, also referred to in research as vulnerable narcissism, looks very different. Clinically, narcissists exist on a spectrum. Covert narcissists meet the same core features of narcissistic personality subtype: fragile self-esteem, excessive need for validation, impaired empathy, and a sense of entitlement. But these traits are expressed inwardly through victimhood, passive-aggressive, and emotional withdrawal, rather than overt dominance. This is why partners often say, they're not cruel, just hurt. Maybe I'm too sensitive. If I loved them better, they wouldn't shut down. The danger isn't obvious harm. The danger is the psychological erosion. How a covert narcissist plays out in relationships is what you need to watch. Let's talk through the relational process. Idealization through emotional intensity. Early on, the covert narcissist may bond through trauma disclosure, deep conversations, and apparent vulnerability. This creates a rapid emotional intimacy, activating your empathy and attachment system. Clinically, this is not mutual vulnerability. It is unconscious self-regulation through another person. You become the mirror that stabilizes their fragile self-concept. Subtle devaluation through invalidation. Over time, the tone shifts. Your feelings are too much. Your needs are exhausting. Your reactions are framed as the problem. This is an explosive devaluation. It's quiet dismissal, often paired with statements like, I never said that. You're imagining things. I guess I'm just a terrible person then. Clinically, this is defensive shame regulation, turning accountability into self-pity to avoid responsibility. Emotional withholding as control. Covert narcissists often punish through silence, withdrawal, delayed responses, emotional coldness. This activates your attachment, anxiety, pushing you to repair, apologize, over-explain, or self-abandon. From a psychological lens, this is intermittent reinforcement, one of the strongest conditioning mechanisms in human bonding. Chronic role reversal, you become the emotional regulator, the caretaker, the one doing the work. They remain fragile, misunderstood, and exempt. This creates pathological relational asymmetry, where empathy flows in one direction and emotional labor is never reciprocated. So what happens inside you? The covert narcissistic relationship often leaves partners with chronic self-doubt, feelings of being dismissed, diminished, hypervigilance, guilt for having needs, confusion instead of clarity, emotional exhaustion without a clear incident to point to. Clinically, many survivors present with complex relational trauma symptoms, not because of overt abuse, but because of persistent emotional invalidation. This is not about labeling someone as bad or diagnosing a partner. Only trained clinicians diagnose personality disorders, just so you know. So this is about recognizing patterns that harm psychological well-being regardless of intent. So it's important to become aware. So ask yourself, not what is wrong with them, but do I feel emotionally safe being honest? Are my needs treated as burdens? Am I constantly explaining, defending, minimizing myself? Do I feel more anxious inside this relationship than the outside when I was not in this relationship? Awareness is not about blame. It's really about reclaiming reality. When you can name a pattern, you can stop internalizing it. When you stop internalizing it, you regain choice. Healing begins when empathy includes yourself. You're not too sensitive. You're not responding normally to a relationship that quietly asks you to disappear. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked it, please hit the subscribe and hit the like button. Leave a comment for me and let me know if you had been in a narcissistic abuse relationship with a covert and what your experience was like. Thank you.